Welcome, folks, to yet another episode of It's 5 o'clock here. Since spring is now upon us, and with all of it, the terrible allergies that come with it too, I don't know if you're feeling it, I'm definitely feeling it. But with it also comes the great things about spring: warm weather, sunshine, and outdoor drinks, or drinks that are optimized by enjoying in the sunshine. And I'm going to be teaching you guys today a version of the whiskey or bourbon smash, an old cocktail, but one that was revitalized in the 1980s by Dale DeGroff at the Rainbow Room in New York. Now, this particular one I like to call the spring smash because I like to add in a little bit of bright red berries to give it a pop of color and also a pop of flavor. Now, the smash, it is important to note that you can do this without whiskey. But why would you? I mean, unless you're doing the non-alcoholic version, which I totally get. But if you're going to do the alcoholic version, trust me, use the bourbon. Now, this particular cocktail is called the whiskey cocktail for those who say they'll never drink whiskey. And trust me, once you taste it, bourbon drinkers will know there's a little bit in there because they really look for that flavor. But if you're not a whiskey drinker and you have this cocktail, I would bet that you can't tell whiskey is in it. But if for whatever reason you just really can't dedicate yourself to that brown liquor, you can substitute in gin, vodka, tequila, rum. This is a perfect base cocktail for pretty much all kinds of spirits. So why don't we go ahead and get started, because I know I am particularly thirsty. So I'm going to be doing this in a shaker. Now, the original cocktail, the way that Dale DeGroff does it, is he takes 3 lemon wedges. Now, I still do use the lemon wedges, but he actually takes it and muddles it directly in the glass. I like to put everything in my cocktail shaker and muddle it, and then we're going to strain it at the end, because I really just don't like stuff floating in my glass. If you do like that, or you're okay with that, go right ahead and skip the shaker and you can do it right in your glass. But for our purposes today, I'm going to be doing this in our shaker. So I'm going to be taking some lemons and popping in 3 wedges. So that's 1, 2, 3. Don't bother with the seeds. We're going to be straining them out later. And I want to keep that whole lemon in there because we're also going to be able to get some of those kind of tangy, a little bit of lightly bitter notes from the rind, which makes it just a really beautiful, well-rounded cocktail. So I've got my 3 lemon wedges in there. Now I'm going to bring in le Bourbon. I'm going to do 2 ounces of bourbon in here. I've got today my old tub, bottled and bond, unfiltered from Jim Beam. It's actually a really nice bourbon. It's like 22 to 25 bucks, and it's really good even just on the rocks. But it is 100 proof, as all bottled and bond bourbons are. And I always recommend using a bourbon in cocktails that is 90 to 100 proof to retain a little bit of that burn, if you will. Using a lower proof bourbon will, and when I say lower proof, I mean 80 to 90, it will definitely mellow the bourbon flavor as well as the bourbon burn. So I, someone who loves that, likes to keep it at that 90 to 100. So 3 wedges of my lemon in there, 2 ounces of bourbon, and then 3/4 of an ounce of our rich simple syrup. Today I'm going to be using a little bit of my fennel simple syrup, which I used to make another cocktail. And I just have a lot of this. And fennel gives a very lightly anisette note to it, but you can just use regular rich simple syrup. I'll give you the recipe for that too. But it's just 2 parts sugar, water. Make sure to dissolve that sugar in your water, let it cool, and you're ready to roll. So 3/4 of an ounce of our rich simple syrup. Now I'm going to add in 6 to 8 basil leaves. Now you can also do mint. So basil is a member of the mint family. And the original cocktail has mint in it, but I like basil because it really adds to the strawberries that we're going to be popping in here too. So I had 6 big basil leaves that I just tore into 3. Now I'm going to add in 3 strawberries. Now, if you have tiny strawberries, do 5 or 6, but these ones here, I'm going to go ahead and quarter them, cap and quarter. All right, cap, quarter. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do these in 8s because they're humongous. And so what that means is just little bits like this. And fun fact, strawberries whiten your teeth. So, you know, you're getting some nice nutrients from your fruit, vitamin C from the lemon juice, you're whitening your teeth with these strawberries. I mean, this is effectively a health drink. So you can feel good about it. And for those who wanted to make the non-alcoholic one, this is kid friendly or someone who's not drinking friendly, just leave out the bourbon and you can put in 2 ounces of regular water or just 1 ounce of soda water, and then you can top later with another ounce of soda water. You just don't want to add too much soda water into the shaker and shake it because it will explode. And no one wants that. Spring cleaning is good, but like spring explosion cleaning is not good. So I've got my 3 wedges of lemon, 3 strawberries chopped up. And these are large strawberries, so remember, if you have smaller ones, use more. Or if you want to use raspberries, use about 6 to 8. You could also use blackberries or blueberries. And again, use about 6 to 8, depending on the size of your berries. Then I did 2 ounces of bourbon, then 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, rich simple syrup. Now I'm going, oh, sorry, almost forgot that basil. 6 pieces of basil, torn. It's going to essentially look like a giant smoothie, but it's going to be very nice. So now I'm going to get out all of my rage from the last year of quarantine and muddle the heck out of this. So what you're gonna do to muddle is you really just wanna smash this up really good. I mean, obviously, the namesake, it's a smash. Maybe I should call this drink like cheaper than therapy. I don't know. I think spring smash is probably a good way. I feel like if I had to do cheaper than therapy, I would need to do like 4 ounces of bourbon. Is that just me? Sorry. All right, so I'm still working this. And you really wanna make sure to get all of that lemon juice out of there as well. So this might take a little bit of work. You know, this is also a fun thing to do with kids. Also, if, you know, there's not liquor in there. You know, gets them really kind of tactile and in it. And also a great way to add a little bit more fruit and veg. And those phytonutrients from the mint or the basil are lovely. All right, so I've got this nice and mashed up. Now let's add our ice. And we are going to shake the bejesus out of this. So you're gonna wanna give this a shake for about 20 to 30 seconds, really vigorous. Let's do it. Again, you know, there's just like a lot of, I feel like, emotional release in this drink. You mash it up, you shake it up really well. It's a good weight to it as well. All right, open this sucker up. And I'm going to be doing this in a lowball glass right here. And I'm going to be taking my fine mesh strainer and straining this over a little bit of ice. So let me put some fresh ice in here. Probably about 2/3 of the way up. And I'm going to strain this over ice. So you can see this is this beautiful deep red color. Oh, this is making me so thirsty. All right, so I like to actually use my muddler to kind of push through that, the little more pureed bits, because it gets really fibrous at the end. So you do want to make sure to kind of mash that through. Now I'm going to shake this again, get all of that goodness out of there. And then, because I feel like spring is the time of spritzes, so everything should be made, you know, spritz adjacent. So I'm going to top this off with a little sparkling wine. I actually have a bottle of my naughty alcohol-free sparkling wine on top, but you can use Prosecco, Cava, real champagne, whatever you like, as a nice little float. I like using the naughty though, because then it doesn't actually add any alcohol to it, and it's only 21 calories a serving. So it's a good way to kind of lengthen cocktail, add that bubble, but not a lot of calories or alcohol. So I'm gonna finish this off with a lemon wheel. And then I love using my little basil flowers as well. So I'm gonna pop that right through the middle, because what's springier than flowers? And that, my friends, smashing, if I do say so myself. That's a spring smash for your National Cocktail Day and your start to spring. We've deserved it, we've earned it, as have you. Cheers, folks. Oh, yes, that's exactly what I needed.